Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to treat this like the absolute most important class of the semester. Today, we are completely shattering the illusion that artificial intelligence is just one big, magical, omnipotent brain that somehow does absolutely everything. I know, it totally feels that way when you're scrolling through the news, but as we're going to see today, the reality is way more structured, super fascinating, and literally tied to the stuff you do on your phone every single day.
You interact with this tech all day, every day, whether you realize it or not. But I want to start by asking you a really fundamental question, one that, honestly, even some hardcore tech enthusiasts get wrong. Is all AI the exact same thing? Like, when your phone unlocks using your face, is it using the exact same technology as when it pumps out a 5-paragraph essay from scratch? We really need to unpack this.
Okay, so here's our lesson plan for today. 1. The two types of AI. 2. Traditional AI, which we'll call the judge. 3. Generative AI, the creator. 4. Comparing the two AIs. And 5. Why this difference actually matters. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The two types of AI. Let's just drop all the complicated Silicon Valley jargon right now. We don't need it. We're going to put the AI you encounter daily into two distinct, easy-to-understand buckets. So the crucial thing to remember is this. You need to think of traditional AI as the judge. A judge looks at the evidence presented and makes a firm decision based on the rules. On the flip side, we have generative AI, which you should think of as the creator. A creator doesn't just judge existing things. A creator makes something entirely new, totally from scratch. Honestly, if you can just keep this judge and creator analogy in your head, you'll understand like 90% of what's happening in the AI world right now.
Section 2. Traditional AI, the judge. Let's focus on our first bucket, which has actually been quietly running in the background of our lives for quite a while now. Now, for the senior high schoolers and tech students watching, we technically call these discriminative models. What that actually means is they look at structured data and they learn the boundary between different categories. So given an input, they predict a label. They basically make a simple yes or no decision, a prediction, or classification based on those learned boundaries. The absolute key takeaway here is that a judge classifies, but it never ever creates anything new. Let's think about local industries like mobile banking. When a Momo platform flags a transaction on your phone as sketchy and blocks it, that is traditional AI acting as a judge. It's looking at the transaction data, drawing a boundary, and deciding, is this safe or is this fraudulent? The exact same thing goes for the Ghana revenue authorities scoring a tax audit for risk, or a hospital's diagnostic tool analyzing an X-ray to classify it as healthy or concerning. Even your everyday email spam filter and your Netflix movie recommendations, they are all just discriminative models judging what belongs where. Section 3. Generative AI, the creator. Now let's explore the second bucket.
This is the one making all the massive global headlines lately. We're talking about generative models, stuff with complex architectures like transformers and diffusion models. Instead of just drawing a boundary to make a quick yes or no decision, these models actually learn the underlying patterns and the deep distribution of massive datasets. Because they fundamentally understand how words or pixels go together, they can sample from that knowledge to produce brand new content that literally did not exist before.
Think about the stuff you actually use, like the times you or a classmate fired up ChatGPT for some school essay help. That AI isn't just Googling an existing essay and pasting it, it is generating entirely new sentences word by word. Or think about when local marketers use Canva AI to generate striking social media images out of thin air. Or developers using GitHub Copilot to write totally original code, or even making crazy original music tracks with Suno. That is generative AI acting as the creator, building something entirely from scratch.
Section 4, comparing the two AIs. Let's put these two head-to-head to really cement the difference.
When you put their mechanics side by side, it's honestly a night and day difference. Look at the inputs. Traditional AI usually takes structured data, like transaction amounts and timestamps, while generative AI takes natural conversational language or rough images. And then look at the output. Traditional gives you a rigid decision or prediction. Generative outputs entirely new media. So your Momo fraud detection is classifying existing data, while ChatGPT is generating new data. It's a complete shift in how the machine actually operates.
Section 5. Why the difference matters. But seriously, why does knowing this technical difference actually matter for you as a student, for our education system, or for the government?
Well, it matters deeply because they carry entirely different risks that require completely different rules. The risks of traditional AI, the judge, mostly revolve around bias. A biased algorithm might unfairly deny someone a business loan, or a biased healthcare tool might misdiagnose a patient. But the risks of generative AI, the creator, are a whole different ballgame. The creator might generate insanely convincing deepfakes that spread disinformation, it might suffer from hallucinations, where it just confidently makes up false information, or it might facilitate widespread academic dishonesty in our schools. You literally cannot regulate a deepfake with the same rules you'd use to regulate a loan calculator.
Section 6, pop quiz time. All right, to wrap up this explainer, we're going to treat this like a real classroom and do a rapid-fire pop quiz. Let's see if you can spot the difference in the wild.
Question 1. Think back to our core analogy of the judge. Which description best fits traditional AI? Does it create new images, or does it do something else? If you said it makes decisions and predictions from existing data rather than creating new things, you are absolutely right. The judge only evaluates what's already there. Question 2. Let's look at a local scenario. When a mobile money platform like Momo flags a super shady, out-of-the-ordinary transaction on your phone and sends you a security alert, what kind of AI is working behind the scenes to protect your digital wallet?
Exactly. That's traditional AI. It's acting as the judge, looking at the data boundary of your normal spending habits and making a safety judgment on that one specific transaction.
Final quiz question to bring it all home. What is the primary output that generative AI produces? Like, what makes it so fundamentally different from that spam filter in your email? You got it. It produces entirely new content. Things like computer code, school essays, or digital art that simply wasn't there a minute ago. It generates rather than just discriminates.
As you leave this explainer today, I really want to leave you with one final, vital thought. Based on the risks we just talked about, our digital world has officially split into two very different paths. The judges that seamlessly manage our systems, and the creators that are completely redefining human output. But as these technologies accelerate locally and globally, are our local rules, our schools, and our governance frameworks actually ready to handle both? Thank you so much for learning with me today, and keep questioning the tech you use every single day.